On today's conversation, we're going to dive into what's the difference between permanent life insurance and term life insurance. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Financial Beat YouTube channel. I'm the host of the channel here, Logan Sadler. And thank you for stopping by again for one of our conversations we're going to do on today's video. We're going to do a segment today that we're probably going to continue to do multiple different times in different formats, and we're going to call it What's the Difference, right? So on today's conversation, I wanted to discuss the difference between permanent life insurance and term life insurance, okay? So for those of you, this is your first time by the channel, I'm Logan Sadler, like I was saying, and I am a financial advisor. I help people plan and prepare to get to and through retirement, and really all across the United States. So we have many different clients that are typically approaching retirement phase. And so this video right here in this channel is really just intended to give each and every one of you guys some extra information in some of these topics. And this is probably one of my favorite conversations to have, right? And again, so many people out there have different opinions on what their variations are or what their idea is of term insurance, permanent insurance. There's a lot of traditional salespeople out there that really do push a lot of the different permanent insurances out there. And again, in my opinion, I'm one of those people. I always say, not everything is bad and not everything is good, right? I think there's a lot of advantages to certain types of products in certain situations. So I wanted to just go ahead and dive into what the difference is in these two types of products, right? So let's start with, what are they? Term life insurance, very simply explained, is you're buying a form of insurance that is going to be good for a specific term, okay? It could be 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, right? Whatever the term is. And basically, it's as it states, you're going to pay a fixed premium in most cases for that duration, so that term of 20 or 30 years or 5 years, whatever you sign up for, right? So very clean, very simple. And one of the biggest disadvantages to term, obviously, is as you get older, if your term runs out and you have to re-extend your coverage or convert it or do whatever you're going to do at that time, now you're going to be converting it at a time where you're typically, your cost of insurance would have went up, right? So it's one of those things to really format. But that is term in all of itself. I always tell people the biggest advantage to term is how affordable it is, right? A lot of people out there that have term insurance get it because it's very cost effective, and it's very good for some of us that are younger, that are looking to get a lot of coverage to help get us through these expensive years, or through the years where you might really need term the most, right? To help protect our family and a lot of those things. I think that's where term is a really great fit for most. Now there's permanent insurance. Now what is permanent insurance? Essentially it's a whole life insurance, a universal life insurance, one of those types of forms. And basically you're buying an insurance policy that's going to last for, typically permanent, right? Your whole life, or if it's a universal life, depending on that period, you're going to have insurance for as long as that policy is funded, so to speak, right? So that is the biggest differences, I would say, in and of themselves. Now, let's break it down a little bit of what the differences are. Now, one of the differences that term offers, right, is the affordability. A lot of the times the difference between the two would be cost, right? Typically, permanent life insurance is going to have a higher premium monthly, annually, quarterly, however it is you're paying it. There's typically going to be a higher cost for it because you're buying insurance for a long period of time. And again, as you get more escalated up there in your years of on this life here on this planet, the insurance is going to go up internally inside the policy. So meaning your premiums will start out a little bit higher, but they typically will stay the same as long as you're in them, of course, depending on how you structure the policy. The other big difference is cash value. You'll hear a lot of people out there talk about a cash value life insurance policy that you could borrow from, or take loans from, or take income from, or whatever it is, right? When you hear cash value, you're almost always talking about a universal life insurance or a whole life insurance. Those can be used as an investment, so to speak, right? They do have cash value inside them that you could either borrow or take loans from and use for, I always say the difference is you could use permanent life insurance in some cases, depending on how it's structured. You can use it for some sort of an investment out of it, right? By getting money out. And the biggest benefit, why you hear a lot of people talk about those, is they can be tax-free, right? So when you're taking money out of a universal life insurance or a whole life insurance, if done correctly, the policy loans from that can be tax-free. So that's where a lot of the advantages for some people for a properly structured policy can be, efficient for some. Again, not for everybody. It really depends on what you're using it for and what your situations are. But that is the big difference right there, is the one of them has cash value, right? Term, you have no cash value. You're putting money away. Again, you're going to have coverage as long as it's in force. And so those are really, I would say, the two biggest differences in and of themselves as far as the differences between permanent and term insurance. The other thing I wanted to kind of wrap into this one about what's the difference, and the answer really is, what is the best fit for you, right? So many people come in here and go, well, Logan, I'm 30 years old. What's the best type of policy for me? Or Logan, I'm 65 years old. What is the best type of policy? I would really say it really depends in and of your situation and pertaining to where you're at in your life and your cycle of your plan, as well as what you need the insurance for. Several people out there, they're funding their IRA, they're funding a Roth, or they have other investments, and they're saying, you know what, I'm good. I have investments. I just need a good, cheap insurance that's going to last a long time. That's where term typically is going to fit the bill for a lot of people. And again, there is a lot of reasons still to go with whole life in some cases, because that allows you to have insurance longer, right? I always tell people, Dave Ramsey and some other people always say this, right? The best type of insurance is the one that's enforced when you pass away, right? It's important a lot of insurance policies are not paid out because a lot of people don't carry them their full term, or let them lapse, or stop paying on them, or feel they don't need it anymore. So whole life can be a good, or IUL, can be a good investment of itself, because you're gonna have a benefit at some point down the road. Now, again, if you're just trying to solve for a certain period of time, maybe while you're 40 to 60 years old, while you're working and you're trying to just cover your family if something were to happen, you have other investments, other assets, term is still a really good, cheap, affordable way to get coverage and to use it. But again, the differences there would be, one of them can be used in some cases for more of an investment, have some more bells and whistles that, again, to some people it might not make a difference. To some people it could be beneficial. The other one is just a strict policy that, again, goes for a certain period of time. Okay, so make sure you're consulting with a professional. Again, I always say, anybody that has any questions, leave us comments or give us a call or contact a professional. And making sure when you're picking out a policy to fit your financial plan, make sure you have the right one that's going to fit you and your family's needs. And I always say the best type of life insurance is the one where you have life insurance, right? I think it's just super important, and one of the biggest crucial parts to a financial plan that can really provide that level of protection to your loved ones and your family and your plan all over, right? And making sure that it's when that time does come, if something catastrophic does happen, that you have protection in place to protect them. So again, making sure you find the right policy for you is super important. Hopefully you enjoyed this segment on what the differences are, and we'll see you back here for the next one.